Good evening. Welcome everybody. Well, it's showdown time, folks. It's the hot seat match. The only two remaining unbeaten players in the tournament. And it's going to be the current and defending champion Semipro up against Semipro from England up against Larry from the USA in a race to 200, which starts in about 4 minutes time, 4 minutes or so. And well, it's hotting up. It certainly has done for Larry. Let's have a look at the bracket, because Larry started off ordinary. If I can find him, he got a bye in the first round. Then he played Popman and was fairly sloppy in that match. Then he warmed up a bit against Snake Eyes, beat him comfortably in the end, 200 points to 99. But then he really picked up, and he picked up in a big way, because his next two matches he pretty much dominated. It got a wee bit dodgy at one point for Larry against Albinario, but Albinario couldn't put it together when the chance came, and Larry ran out. I think he got maybe 40 odd or something to run out that match. And well, he actually only got better, because in his next match Larry was playing Cobra, and again Albinario and Cobra, two of the hot favourites to possibly win this tournament, and Larry ran away with that big time. He scored on pretty much every visit, which is what he has to do, and what anybody has to do if they're going to be contenders in this tournament, and those that still remain in it have to do that. And if you can score when you get that chance and get something on the board, I see it time and time again, it adds to the pressure, and it asks for a response from your opponent. So Larry is there, and he needs to keep the standard up. And of course, the most consistent player during the tournament, as the stats prove, is Semipro. And Semipro has got there, if I can get this thing to work. Semipro beat Hazard 200 points to 167 in his last match. He then beat Mooncake 200 points to 60 before that, and he also beat Fan or Wanwa 200 points to 43, and he had a bye in the first round, and he beat Tommy Yu 200 points to 33 in his second round match. So Semi-Pro's wins have all been pretty comfortable, because he hasn't been pushed, and nobody has been able to put a score together to actually put him under pressure. And well, it's Larry's chance tonight. If he can get his act together and get it going, then he may well be in with a chance. Now, here's a question. Is anybody watching this? Because I'm not seeing any chat. Oh, there we go. It's finally come through. Well, you're the first in the door, Cobra. I've got that chat to or text to chat thing off in case that idiot arrives. And that's got that taken care of. We'll get on the tournament room. Oh, Mark's arrived as well. Good evening. So like I say, if Larry's going to be a contender, he's going to have to do it the hardest way of all, by beating all the main rivals. He's beaten two of them, and this is the biggest one. This is the biggest obstacle, and if Larry wins out, he may well have to do it again. If we also have a quick look, we had last night's match that I couldn't get because it was too late, but that was very, very one-sided, and that was between Albinario and Haddad, and Albinario won that 150 to 17. So it's now Albinario and Cobra, and the winner of that match will play the loser of this match, who will move over to that one-loss side. So, welcome everybody. I obviously can't hear who's arriving and who's saying anything, so I may miss somebody. There's Bill. Good evening. The room is up. Let's get in. And we need to change the cloth before they arrive if we can get that done. Cloth colour. Blue. Oh shit. Semi-pros arrived. Hang on. Larry, just wait a minute, Larry, to get this done. Right, there we go. So we're all set. I'll check my little doodle, it should be working. Yeah. So, off we go with the most important shot of the match. I think that's Larry furthest away. I'm just purely guessing. I'm trying to remember the cues. I think that's Larry on top. Well, it might not be, because I think it might be Semi-Pro. Why he's looking around, I don't know. But the top one is won, and it is Semi-Pro, and it's going to be Larry to break. Now, well, you've all pretty much seen Semi-Pro's safety break. So let's see what Larry can come up with. I think he's fallen asleep already. Right, here we go. Is he going to try the inside? You've got to hit that bottom ball as full as you can. Well, Larry's just gone for convention here, so it's a free gift for Semi-Pro. Now, I would have thought Larry would have maybe worked on a break. It might have been worthwhile, because if you get Semi-Pro's break right, you won't leave anything on. But if you get it wrong, you can easily get the double kiss. But Larry's gone for convention, and well, this is really the first in 3 matches where Larry hasn't got in first to get a score on the board. So, of course, Larry as well has forfeited 2 points here. He must have not got. It must have come up on the top of the screen and I missed it. Well, there's a disaster straight away, and Larry has got his gift handed straight back to him. Scratch for Semi-Pro. And he must have not hit, what is it, 2 balls and a cue ball or something to the rail. And he forfeited the 2 points there. But anyway, he's got ball in hand. Now, can he see that 11? Yes, he can. It'll probably be just through for the 1 and maybe up for the 9. But if he goes too far, he won't have a shot in anything else, because the 6 is blocking the 2. So he's limited with what he has here. Now, he might have been trying to leave that as high as he could in the 1 to try and do a bit of damage here. It's a bit risky, but he knows that if he pots the 1 and goes up to the right, he can get the 9, and if he falls, ideally we'd want to fall squarish on. Let me get my line working. If he fell there on that 9 ball, he can get into them. So it's all about potting the 1 and getting up to here. If he goes here, it's no good. If he goes here, it would be good. He's taking the 2, but he can still play a similar shot eventually. He's the wrong side of the 6, and he might go for the cut with a wee bit of pace here. Just if he comes up and hits that 3 ball, that's going to knock the 7 up the table, and he might not do a lot of damage. Larry broke. Semi-Pro won the lag, put Larry into break, and Larry just broke like a conventional snooker break. Well, he's going for the 14 with a bit of power, I think. Well, he's okay, but he'll want to take that, if that's a 9 ball, and then get rid of the 3, because obviously it's a blocker. Or if he wants to take that 15 and drop down for the 1, but he certainly wants to get onto that 3 pretty quickly. just to take it out of the way. And the other thing is that 9 ball is a blocker for the 8, so he should be taking probably the 9 at the moment that he's on it, and that would give him a choice for that 8 ball. He could even cut the 3 right now as well and still come across to the 1. And the problem ball is just a 10 and 6, those two. But if he gets on to the 8 or the 4, it'll be good to just open them slightly. Now I presume the audio is okay. I turned the actual game volume down that you hear, so that the balls weren't quite as loud, because I noticed they were quite loud when they were clattering together. So 3 ball getting taken care of, and probably going to go up the table. And now would be a good time to take that 9, if it was only because it's blocking from that side, but he might well want to leave it as a break ball, because he's only got the 7 to fall back on if things go wrong here. And as long as that 9's there, it's awkward to get in the 4, and it won't go in here. So the other thing is, it's very tight into that middle, so I think he should have got rid of the 9 earlier and left the 7. It would have made it maybe better to get on that 4. Well, he's trying to disturb them. Got 1 out, but same problem. The 4 is even worse. You can't get to it at all now. And now he's looking at the 10. That 10 will go. The 4 is way too tight to think about that. So it's the first of many critical points in the rack. He's going to be hard pushed to get anywhere near those 3 balls. Now, if he takes the 10, or that 12 on the left, and drops through, he's got the 4 up the table. He's going for the 10, but the simpler shot would be just drop the 12 in and take the 4 up the table. And if you got an angle like that, you can pot that and get into them. So he could pot the 12, drop down here, something like that. Well, he's going to have to do that now. Just drop down and take one of them up to that other corner, so he can always fall back in that. So that 10 ball has opened things up. Although now his problem is getting good on either of those 2 balls. He's got a slight angle, so he can just drop behind and leave the 9 there. And he's got the 8 ball up the table, which is easy to get good on the 9. Well, after that dodgy start, especially from Larry's break and then Semipro scratching, this is actually taken, even at the very early stages, exactly the same pattern as to Larry's last 2 matches, where Larry's got in, and each time he's got in early, he's scored and put something on the board. And of course we all know 10 and 12 is no good, 40 odd is good. So the critical first break coming, and he's a bit straight. He's going to catch the corner, but he's going to have to maybe draw up the table slightly. He doesn't want to stay there, and that will do. And now he's just got to do what he's been doing, take his time, know exactly where he's going next, because he's not got a lot of choice. Even though the balls are open, there's a lot of blocking balls. The 7 goes, the 15 goes if he kills the cue ball, or if he just runs off the rail and comes out. But he's not got much more of a target to get. Good evening. Welcome everybody. Welcome to anybody who's just joined. So this is a big one. This is to see who gets to the final. And well, Semi's still the favourite. He scored the most when he's had chances throughout the tournament, and looking to progress to defend his title in the final. Now it may well be, well, it is going to be either up for the 5 or that 7, and if he goes high in the 7 like that, then he's sitting pretty, because he can now do a little bit of nudging about here. He could do it off the 5 if he wants, but he's got good choice either side. Well, it didn't look to me, not having seen, I only saw the early part of the match, but you know, before I went to bed, but it looks as if Haas didn't get much of an opportunity at any time. That's not really done an awful lot of progression for Larry. He's obviously got the 8. Now, it's awkward because he's queuing over the 4. He's looking at the 10 up the table, which he can get to. And that 12 and 5 are going nowhere. And they're not going to the middle, that's going to the point. That 6 and 3, although there's a couple inches between them, if you sit good on it, you pot it no problem. But I don't think they'll be set there for very long. Now Larry could be aggressive and go for the 13 and do a bit of disturbing. But if he's going to do it, he's going to chip back off that 8, off the side rail and across. Needs to watch the scratch. That's the risk with that shot. Any other day that could have cannoned off the 3 went in. And it will have to be the 13, but probably from distance, because he's dead straight in that 1. And he's not got much to choose from. He's got the 6 into the middle, where he'll probably be at risk of going through the gap there on the 4 and the 11. Well, there's Stubbs sitting in the bleachers again. Well, he's hit the 4. He's still got the 1 as a bailout. He's got the 3 into the middle. Now, that's a bit straight though, so I was thinking he might have been able to do a little draw into that 12 just to nudge it, but he's not got the angle. Now, if he pots the 4, the 1, and gets out to about there, if he come across there with the 4, he could maybe stun that in and draw across to do a bit of disturbing that way. But the smaller the target, the bigger the risk. So, if he's going to leave it this late, the obvious problem is the 1 ball is a blocking ball. If he's going to try and drop behind the 12 and 5 to take one of them up the table in that top left hand corner pocket. So he needs to get rid of the 1 for a start. And the reason I'm saying that is because he may well have to fall back in that option. And there's no point in having a 1 ball up there when the cue ball's down here at the bottom of the screen after he pots that 11 ball, and he'll have no target up the top of the table for either of those 2 balls. I had a look at the tournament stats here. I noticed that Albinario never increased his high run, so he must have just got decent scores, but nothing that affected his high run. That needs to slow down. He's gone too far. I'm pretty certain he tried to drop behind one of them. He's now cutting that into a blind pocket. It's not difficult though. I mean, he'd get this 9.7 out of 10, this 5 ball. But if he's taking the 11, he's running up the table. He's got to take that 5. Got to take the one chance you're going to have of opening these. It's not difficult. Nice pace and it will drop in. You can cheat the pocket a fair bit. So, no way he should miss this. And that will do. Now, the problem is, the 13 is a good break ball, and he's good on it. He's not good in any of the other 2. And of course, if he took the 12, how the hell is he going to get back for the 11 anyway? So, I think it might be wise to try and get good in the 11 to drop into that triangle. If he drops into the triangle when he pots that 11, he'll have ball in hand for the 12. And then he can make his own break shot up. Well, he won't be doing it from that angle. He's going to try and drop down behind the pack. Now again, the problem is that 11 ball is so close to the back of the pack. That needs to just slow. That's perfect. He couldn't have put that any better with his hand. And now he has to be careful. This is a dangerous one from the back of the pack. Now he's playing with top. He's played with top. He's managed to run around the angles. And he's got balls to choose from. And the run goes to 28. The score goes to 26 because Larry dropped 2 points on the break. So, to cut a long story short, Larry's high run for the tournament could be 202 at this point. And this is exactly what he would have wanted. The same scenario has come about and has come into play as it has done in his last 2 matches. He's got a score and he's building on it. It's still nothing great yet, but the longer he stays at the table, the more the points build up. Steady and surely, that's the pace to be played at. And as I said to Larry earlier on, I said don't do anything numpty-ish. Because Semipro will be all over you like a rash. Well, again, we've got the usual problems to deal with. That 9 ball is no good where it's sitting because it's blocking the path for at least, well, the 6 ball's no good there either. So it would have to go. So there's a bit of disturbing needing done. And if it's the 9, he's going behind the pack and back out. Now, I don't know whether he tried a little cannon there, but it looks more like he wanted out into the table. Now he can play the 12. The 12 is perfect right now. Although it's a half decent break ball, but it's also a good ball to get into those. That's got to be the shot. And once again, if he's leaving it, he's got to get good on it again. And, well, that time the cue ball's fallen short. So now you'll be less inclined to look at the 12. Now, if he also finishes low here on the left, he can take the 12 into the right middle and again do a bit of disturbance. So he can give himself 2 chances here to open them, and that's 2 chances gone. Now, how is he in the 4? Well, that'll do. That's a nice little angle. Just to run into the 5. He needs a wee bit of top on this to go through them. It's a bit risky, but he does have to make sure he puts a wee bit of top on it. And that's perfect. That is absolutely perfect. And what has he done as well? He's nudged the 1 into play. And he's now got a choice. And, well, once again, he might not get any better on that 15 ball. And he can drop behind and out for the 6 as well. Get rid of it. Even if he goes too far in the 6, he's always got a bailout up the table, so that's the ball to play for. Play the 15, drop behind the 6 and up the left side, take the 6 and get rid of it. And then you don't need to worry about the back of the pack anymore. Well, he's gone too far. A wee bit softer and it would have been fine to get rid of it. So now the 6 remains there and it's just a bit annoying. Because if I'm at the table in Larry's shoes, I'm just bugged by that 6 ball. You can still take care of it right here as well. Well, now see, that's a problem. He might have to rethink because now he's going to run into the 1 ball. And you see how you create problems for yourselves when you don't deal with something that should have been dealt with 3 shots ago. He's now having to bail out and having to rethink. So now he's got a bit too much angle in this 13 as well, for fear of nudging that 1 ball. And now it's just a roll through for the 6. I'd be concentrating semi-pro. I wouldn't be listening to the stream. I'd be full focus mode. You don't want any distractions. So he's got to get not too high in this 13 ball. He's got to get up the table but not too high. And well, he needs to be straight then. He doesn't want to be going near the 1 ball. Now, does he go forward and around the angles and up the table? Or is he just going to draw straight back? It's drawn straight back. And that, again, is pretty good, but it's a bit straight again. He's just going to have to make sure he doesn't lock himself there. A little bit of draw. Not too much. Don't be digging too much. And not a lot of juice, because that cue ball might start fizzing. Well, he's got it. A solid stun. He's got the 7 ball. I think he's blocked off here. He could be really crazy and take the 4 and smash things open right here, but that's a testy one for the nerves into the middle this early on in the rack. But the run goes to 42. The lead is 40. Well, it's the same old, same old. When there's balls there for the taking, there's no point in taking any risk early on. It's just about adding that score. I mean, the perfect shot would be to just fall onto that 4 ball across into that left middle. Not quite square, but not level with that right, the diamond, just to the, that's parallel to that 4 ball on the right hand side, but just a tad lower than that, and he could smash them all open. Well, that almost went wrong. He's okay though, and now he's going to take the risk, because that wall of balls, those 4 balls, they're spaced apart, and he's going to have to get that bit of luck. Well, it hasn't really happened for him. 4 balls going up the table, come back down. He's still on the 11, and now he's running out of opportunities here. The 6 ball is now the blocker for the 4. The 4 would be ideal to use as a break ball to get into them. He's not got a lot of choices, and he might be going all out for this off the 11, or whatever ball it is. Is it the 11? Yes, it is. No. Well, he's got a great chance now. He can pot the 10, he can cut the 6, and he can get into those balls. Well, that's nudged 1 out. Now we know the 5 goes. When the 5 goes, that opens up the 3. But we've still got that cluster. What's his angle? His angle's perfect. Absolutely perfect. Even if he brushes off the 3, he's got to nudge the 9. And he doesn't need to be aggressive though. He just needs to get enough momentum just to knock them open. That's all he needs to do. But again, he's not taking it. I'm surprised at that. Well, he's now finished with another opportunity in the 3 ball to open them. And he took it off the 13. Well, either way, it's a testy shot. He's got the cut into the right middle. He might have to use that 12 ball as his break ball. So the run has now got to 50. The lead is 48. Now, the 14 ball's a bit high, but it can still be used as a break ball, although it may have to go off 2 rails to get to the pack, and then by the time the cue ball gets to the pack, there's not an awful lot of momentum in it to get a good break. So if that's the case, he needs to get rid of the 14 if he's going to leave the 12. And that may well be what he's going to do now. Drop the 12 in, drop behind the 9. Now what about that 8 ball? Well, it's in the triangle as well, so that's going to go. So, well, he might be in 2 minds here. He could still cut the 14 and go across for the 8 or the 9 and leave that 12 as a break ball. I think he's replanned what he's going to do there. And that's probably the better move. Now, how good is he going to get on this 8-ball then? To get into the table for that 12. Now remember what I said as well before. It's never a great break ball when it's away from the rail as much. It just means that you have to get really good on it, because the cue ball still got to travel to that rail. Not the cue ball, the object ball still got to travel to there and get out of the way, and the cue ball still got to come across. Well, now he can stun up the table into the middle of the table. If he was to go up the table and out, he can cut the 8, but that's always dodgy to try and hit the corner of the pack. I think he's got a much bigger target if he can get over to this right side. Of course, anything but straight on this 12. And the ideal shot would be like from there or there, but it's more likely going to be from there. You can get on it. He's got the angle to get up. And that'll do. That looks pretty good to me. That is perfect. Full focus in the pot and a good stun. And he doesn't want to lock onto the pack. Now, how's his luck? Because this looks good, but at first glance it does, but it's not once you get right down to the nitty gritty. He's on nothing. He's got a dodgy cut in the 13, and he's got a dodgy cut in the 7, and there's nothing set. So it's a little flick in the 7. He's going to run into the 9 and 2. He needs to watch he doesn't brush. I think he's okay. I think the 5 would save him. But it's a thin cut, and he's got to watch the cue ball. Well, that's the luck you have to take to play that shot. That could have gone anywhere, that cue ball, and now he's okay. He's off and running again. It's back to the same disciplines as you have to have in every rack. Take care of the problem balls. There's 2 clusters there that are problems. He's got a bailout ball over the corner pocket. He can leave that as long as he wants. And if everybody gets out of shape, even if it was snookered in the 7 ball, he's still got a 90% chance of kicking it in from anywhere. It's always good to have that as a bailout. Well, there you go. Unlucky tonight. The text-to-speech is off. You could piss off. So, the run is 59. Now you can deal with one problem here. He might be lucky enough to deal with 2 of them at the same time. If that 2 ball goes forward, it can clip that 11 and 1. Well, he's went the other way. He's actually hit them instead. Let's have a look. Well, that 9 goes, so they don't need to be opened. He can pop that 9 in. What's Larry's highest run? 62 or something? Somebody look at the stats. I've forgotten. If you want to look at the stats, you go to stats and then you choose tournaments in the drop down. Obviously you choose straight pool first, tournaments, stats, and then in the window when it asks you the name of the tournament, you type in 2020 and then delete the 0, and it will find this tournament, and that will bring you up all the stats for the tournament. And then you click the tabs to see the highest run. I'm sure Larry's there or thereabouts now. Well, what a time to get your high run for the tournament, exactly when it was needed. I think Larry was at he was in the 10th position on the top 10 leaderboard for high runs. He's going to run into the 8 here. He needs to get lucky. He could be dead in the rail with no shot next. Well, he's avoided it. He's managed to get into the gap. Now what does he do? Does he take that 15 when he's got the opportunity to do so? Or does he keep being cautious? Because it's worked so far. No, I don't think Larry was at 68. Was it 68? Ah, well, he's still not there yet, but he should be at the end of this visit. Now, it's going to be the 15 ball as the break ball, as long as he doesn't disturb it. At a push might be the 2, but I don't think he'd be as keen, because it's well off the rails. It means he's got to get more accurate to get good on that 2. So the 15 ball affords him a much better chance of getting a good break. Now he's just under hit that if he was coming back for the 14. Yeah, they all go, so there isn't a problem. And this is all about just judging the pace. Well, now, with the angle he's got on that 11, he can just roll through and take the 14 into this middle pocket as we look. That means he's doing it simple, but he needs to get the angle, though, to come out. And he has done. He's just gone far enough. If that was dead straight, it was a problem. He's got the little angle, and that can get him out and up high enough for the break shot. So Larry's tied his high run for the tournament. The lead is 65. Oh, he doesn't want to go to the rail. He doesn't want to go there. Oh, this is dangerous. This has got danger written all over it, Larry. You've got to see that coming. He's got to dig into this, jack it up. It's far too straight. Cue ball's running away, but he's safe and he's on a ball. And now he can drop through for that 8 ball. Bit dangerous to run through and try and get on the 7, I think. It might be just easier just to take his take what's there. It's an easy enough shot to roll through for the 8. He won't have much else though after the 8 and the 7. Well, he took a risk. He's brought another ball into play. That 3 ball is perfect for the break to get into them. But he's absolutely plumb straight on this 7. He's looking maybe to see if anything, I don't know whether he's looking to see if anything's set, but he's dead straight on the 7. So he could just draw it back. Depends what he wants to do with the cue ball though. I think he's trying to pinch and spin around the angles to come around and out. Now there he's got his break shot. He's got 2 to choose from. And it's going to be the 3 to keep him at the table and to improve the situation. Again, got to be careful he doesn't run off the pack and go up the table. To you know where. Oh, that's a good shot. That's an excellent shot. Well controlled. The delayed spin has opened him pretty much all up, although he's obviously got a nice easy 3-ball combo down the rail. They're all lined up perfect. Obviously he can get to the 5 and take it out, then he can get to the 6 and take it out, but they're all fairly tight. He doesn't want to be miles away from them when he's trying to pot these. Now if he, that'd have been ideal if he just dropped right in between them there. That's a wee bit more dodgy, so he'll take care of the 9. That 6-ball though, or the one's a bit high, but he's got to do something to get one of them away. He might try it now off this, is that the 10-ball? Yeah, it is. He could stun into that 6. Oh aye, you've got to hit that from this shot. Get rid of the 6. Nice firm stun. Nope. Well, that was one chance he had there to take care of the 6, and he's let it go. I think he should have stunned it. He'd have been unlucky not to have been on a shot, and it would have nudged it and probably improved the situation. But once again, is he going to get another chance at it, or is he going to leave the 1-6 as a combo if it really comes down to it? Has he made up his mind that the 4-ball's going to be the break shot? That's the more important question, because the 4-ball's at the head of the pack. It's not a bad position. There's a wee gap between it and the pack itself. And he's got another chance off this 8 just to nudge into the 1. If he misses them and goes up the table, he's still got the 11 as a bailout, so he shouldn't be worried. But he's got to take the initiative here. And that is a shot, and that deals with the problem, and he's on the 12 or the 11, and everything's hunky-dory. And we're getting to the critical point again. And well, this match has been going for 44 minutes, and for 43 of them, it's been Larry all the way. The run is 78. The lead is 76. Well, that scratch by Semipro, it's opening a deeper wound every point that Larry puts on the board. Well, it might have been a scratch, but it's now a gaping wound with every point. Well, he's come out a bit too far on this 11. He's going to have to drop down for the 14. He might have to put a wee bit of inside in this just to get reasonable in the 14. He's also in danger of nudging across into that 4. Mind you, he's the top side of it, so he should avoid it. Yeah, he's looking to go just in between them. Ah, that's perfect. So now the dilemma is, what's it to be? It's more than likely, I would think, now going to be the 6-ball, from the point of view that to get good in the 6, the 4 ball's the easier ball to get good in the 6. The 6 ball is not a good ball to get good in the 4, and that you have to weigh up those pros and cons. So it will be the 6 ball, unless he fancies digging into this cue ball and trying to get really good in the 4. So the 4's going to go. And how tight is that to the rail? Let's have a quick look. Well, there's a good 3 or 4 millimetres off the rail. The run is 82, and Larry has his eyes set on becoming the 4th player in the tournament to get to 3 figures. Well, Larry's decided to take the 6, and that is pretty good. He's going to hit the top of the pack, and they should break fairly good from here. It's all about controlling the cue ball. Oh, it got a little brush there, I think off the 12, that put it offline to that middle pocket, or that cue ball could have scratched. But he's got a shot. He's also got the 5 ball, that's the one that could allow him to do damage, and he should do that now. He should take that 12. How's the angle in that 12? Maybe a bit too much. Yeah, I think that's the problem with the 12. He would want to just finish. He'd want to finish about there in that 5 ball, pot the 5 and run into them. But the angle he's got in the 12, the cue ball's going that way. So he's going to have to rethink. If he goes short on the 5, he could take the 5 into this middle and do the same thing. Well, he's letting it run again. Oh, he's dicing with death here. It's getting dicey. And now he's on the 5. And now he can get them open. Again, he just doesn't want to get carried away with the shot here. He's got to keep to those disciplines. And a nice firm stunt. No big draw. And again, he'll take that. It's not pretty, I think, but you can see the 1. And that's a good enough starter. And he's also got a break ball to work with. He's got the 10. The 3 at a push. Although the 10 looks much better. So, this run is looking very favourable to progressing here. Because he's also got a good ball to get on that 10. That 12 ball that's up the table is a good ball. The 14 as well, because it's adjacent to the 10, might be good, but it's not great to get on. But once he tidies things up, it'll begin to take shape as to what he's going to do. So the run is 89. And now the question is, can he get to 3 figures? Because even at 89, Semi-Pro's high run of 179 still looks an awful long way away. Well, the one that's bugging me is the 7 ball, and he's a bit high on the 9. Yeah, he's a bit high in the 9 to get around the other side of that 7. And yeah, well, this is a wee bit testy, this. He doesn't want to overcut this, because he could easily just brush the 2 and this not go in. He's got to be careful. Now the 7 is open, and again he's got a good chance here to come off the side rail, short rail, and then over to this side nearest us. Well, he's gone the other way. And again, another good chance to get on this side of that 7 and get rid of it. He can do it again off the 10, but he's got to get rid of that now. Because again, you're working at two ends of the table here. You've got these two balls up the middle of the table, and you've got that 7 there that's annoying, and he's finished short. And each time he's running out of balls to get there. He's going to have another go off this 15, I think. Which then means it's not going to be as easy to get good on the 13. So it's all about the positional shot on this 7 as to whether he's going to make it easy to get good for the 13. Well, he's high on it, so he can go off the end rail and up into the middle of the table. And he's got to go far enough. He might be further away from the object ball, but he has to go far enough to give him the angle. He doesn't want to finish straight. So he might well overhit this and underhit it. And that is perfect again. Once again, full focus on the pot. He doesn't need to worry about hitting the pack. He's going to do that. But not too much juice with the cue ball. So same rules apply every time. Make sure you're thinking about what the cue ball's doing so that it's not fizzing off the pack. The run is 97. And this is going to decide whether he can get to those 3 figures. This shot here. And that will do very nicely indeed. Thank you very much, sir. And he's also got a little combo to deal with as well. That 3 and 7 are not quite set. He might want to nudge them. But he's on 99. He got a bonus ball in the break. And this will take him to 3 figures and counting. Well, this has been two very solid performances from Larry. And a third one is counting here at the moment. And this is going to be the supreme test for Semipro. He's been the most consistent scorer throughout the tournament. But he's not really been tested fully until tonight. And now, can he come up with the answers? And more importantly, when is he going to get to the table? Because Larry right now doesn't seem to be in the mood to want to sit down in his chair. And he's taken care of the trouble, but he's created more of a problem. He's got a good angle, he's got a good ball off that 2 ball to get into those 2 balls there on the side rail. He has to be thinking about that. Now, he could pot the 15, stun into the 12 or the 10 on the right hand side. Or if he misses it, he'll leave himself a bit square in the 2. So if he doesn't play it too hard, he could always leave that angle in the 2 just to run into them and chip that 5 or the 3. Well, the 7 is the bailout ball in case anything happens. It's also making that pocket a big pocket, but he's got no angle to get near that 3 and 5 right now. But he's going to try it off the 7. He's going to go inside to miss the 1 and just run into the 3 and 5, I think. Well, he actually hit the 1 and it's done him no harm, and he's now sitting pretty. He's taken care of all the problems, and once again, it's down to the critical point. Now, where's the break ball? Well, the 1 ball is very low. The 10 ball is a bit wide and above. Is that the 10? No, it's a 12. And the 14's in the triangle, so it's no good. So this is not quite as cut and dried this time, the way these are sitting. Well, the run is now 106. The lead is 104. We still don't know what Larry's settled for here. Again, he's got he had the 2 balls up the table. He's going to take the 5, but he's still got the 2 ball and the 4 ball is good balls to get on that 12 ball. I keep calling it the bloody 10 ball. Well, he's now looking at the 12. He's thinking about the 4. Is he going to leave the 1? Well, it looks now like it's the 1 and across the table for the 2 into the left middle. That's what I was thinking, and now he's thinking something entirely different. So now it's definitely going to be the 1. So he's going to have to kill the cue ball right there, stone dead, where that 2 is. Just kill it stone dead, and he's got his angle. And now, of course, he needs that bit of luck. Now watch this cue ball running up that angle of those balls. It could go up the table here if he doesn't get something square on the nose. Because if you saw any of those semi-pro safety breaks, the one shot I had was a kick into the rail. The ball hit the pack and it runs up into the corner pocket. The cue ball's running up the table, but it's well safe. And he's off and running again now. Again, does he want to be really aggressive and pot the 14 and run into them? Or does he want to just bide his time? The run is now 112. The lead is 110. And there's still balls to be picked off here. Down onto the bottom rail. That'd be the simple one. Get rid of the 13. Or whatever it is that the 11? That's the 11 in the bottom rail. What was that one he took instead? Oh, I don't know. Now the 13 is a blocking ball for that 8 ball. If he ran through in the 9, if he got in the 9 and he ran through to here, he can pot the 8 and break them open that way, but that 13 ball is a blocker for that shot. And he can do it now off the 7. Absolutely plumb perfect. That 8 ball's going to go to the bottom rail and go back up the table to somewhere near the middle pocket, depending on the pace he hits this at. So he'll have a couple of balls up the table by the looks of it. Yeah, that's gone way up. If it keeps bouncing, well, it's a bit dodgy where it is at the moment. He's got a cut back in the 6. He's got the 9 ball to the right of the 2. And we have been going just on the hour. An hour and 1 minute. And Larry's been at it for an hour for this run. The run is 117. The lead is 115. He might just brush that 10 just like that. And again, that is a clever little shot by Larry. Just a nice little gentle brush with the cannon, and he's got the 10 ball sitting pretty. And so again, he's done the hard work there. The 10 ball is the nominated ball, and now he's going to work his way around it. And again, he's got 3 balls that are perfect, whatever way he takes them, to get on that 10 ball. So this is looking more than promising that he's going to continue the run. But he's got to get down to these 2 in the bottom here first. Get these dealt with, and then get them out of the way. And this is again a perfect opportunity just to drop down onto the bottom rail and up for the 5, whatever he does. But they've got to go. And if you just drop in the 5, take care of that, whatever it is. Is it the 11 ball? I don't know what it is. I can't be bothered zooming in to look. It's either the 11 or the 13 in the bottom rail. So this is now the second highest run in the tournament, behind Semipro's 179. Now Larry is going to have to do it from the top end to get on this break shot. And it's not a difficult shot to get good on this 10. Now what way is he going to do it? He's pretty straight on the 8. He might want to stud this. Let's have a look at what he's doing here. He needs to come around and out far enough so he's not going too straight. He's okay, but once again, it's the same thing. This is going to be a solid stun. If he doesn't do anything with the cue ball, he's going to stay there. He's got to get away from that pack. Can't just stun it stone dead. It'll just lie dead on a ball. Got to be aggressive. Oh, that's beautiful. And a bonus ball as well. They have broken very nicely. Again, he's got balls to choose from to keep it going. And if he plays this right, he can take out the 2 and 6 eventually. He still might have to nudge something because those 3 balls ain't going anywhere. Well, there's only me, Larry and Semipro in the room, which is good. So that means that we've got how many people on the stream? We've got, what, 3 in YouTube and 4 in Twitch. And all these silent people sitting watching as well. So the run has hit 130. The lead is 128. .24 on YouTube and 9 on Twitch. So how is he going to deal with this cluster here? He's running out of shots again. He can do it off the 15 if he takes the risk, because he can cut that with a wee bit of inside right just to nudge that cue ball towards the 13 and 9. The only thing with that shot is that there's nothing definite in it, because you're not then playing for a ball, and that definitely does go against the sort of disciplines that you want to keep. But sometimes you've got to take a risk, and he's got the shot now on the 6, although he's a bit high. Yeah, it's a bit risky, that 6 ball. If he had been a bit squarer to the right, he would have played it, and he knows full well he would have hit the 11. This shot is not quite as inviting. Again, he's got to be careful. Oh, the danger with the cue ball. Oh, disaster, Larry. Oh, dear. I told you guys. I told you about that 6 ball. Commentator's eye gets it right again. And Keith has been the jinx to Larry, not me, because Keith said brilliant run so far from Larry. Did he change his mouse and he's bloody jinxed him? And Larry's run ends in 131, and it's inevitable. It's ended on the scratch on that dangerous 6 ball, because he was just too high in the 6 to take the risk of brushing into that ball, because it was always going to be risky to skim off it and scratch, and he's fell into the trap again. And it ends in 131. The lead is 128, and now Semipro has got his chance. Well, I've told you guys, the commentator's eye is never usually that wrong. When I looked at that 6, that little voice in my head started going. And, well, if only Larry could have heard my little voice in my head, he wouldn't have played it. He should have bailed out on something else, but he was running out of options. But he took the risk, and he paid the price. But Semipro has got a rather large mountain to climb to get into this match, and that is Larry's visit ended on 1 hour and 8 minutes at the table for that run of 131. And now that Semipro's at the table, I am going to bail out and go and put the heating off, because I'm beginning to stew. Be back in a minute. Back at the critical point. Semipro's break shot, and they've just died a death there, those balls. This is not a great angle in the 12 either. It's a bit straight, and now it's a risky shot in the 7. And of course now Semipro is under extreme pressure. Any unforced errors are going to cost him. Yes, a tremendous run from Larry. Surprised to get back to the table so early on after his poor break-off shot. Well, if Larry comes through this, he maybe wants to work on a break shot. because he can't, unless he can be more reliable in his lag. But he's going to have to work in the break. So Semipro, the run goes to 11. And he's going to clear that 10 ball, which opens the other 3, but he has to get rid of the 3 ball as well. Now he might, I think the angle he's got, he might just brush into that that 11 ball there. Let's have a look. How straight is he? Is he the wrong side? No, he's the wrong side of it. So, well, now he's a bit in no man's land here. And again, I think he's okay on that 1. Plenty of room to get it past the 3. Little brush onto the 4 is inevitable, so that'll take care of that issue. Now, looking at the pack, the 2 balls right on the point. The 15 ball is a bit wide, but well into the table. So he's not got a great deal of what you would say choice break balls. Well, a lead of 130, you know, is a strong lead. And if it's going to be against anyone, and if anyone's going to be the player that can put up a reply to that, then Semipro will be it, because he showed he's the most consistent. He's got the most points per visit, albeit that has come down simply because of his high run early on in the tournament. It's always been dropping, but it's still higher than all the rest of the players in the tournament. And he needs to do something similar here if he's going to get back into this match. And it's not pretty at the moment. We've got this problem at the bottom here, and what's he going to decide is going to be his break shot. He doesn't want to go, well, he's finished right on the rail, because he could have been neither here nor there with that shot, but he's right on it. But can he go through the other side? Is he going to brush? No, he's okay, he's fine. What is it, 30 odd, is it? Is it 32 or something? Well, maybe Cobra should have kept that and held that in his armoury for his next match. Yeah, I thought it was about 30 something. I thought it was still the highest. Maybe it has come down. Well, this is not great. Big danger here with this break shot. these balls can end up in an arc and just cozy that cue ball into the corner. It's always dangerous. And it's died stone dead. And how's his luck? His luck has come out okay. He's on the 2. Any other day he'd have been locked up there with nothing. But you need that little bit of luck. Well, he's going to go for it off the 9 to get these open. He's looking at the 14, but that might be his break ball unless he leaves that 6. Looks as if it's going to be the 6. Could be the 8 as well if it comes to it. Oh dear, the yawning started. It's that time of night again, guys. The old body clock is ticking down. Needs to be careful here. This is one you don't want to be rolling through. That pocket will gather it in. Yeah, the stun for safety. Well, this'll, as long as Semipro gets to 32, this'll up his average. Only by point, whatever it is of a point, 0.1, 0.0 something or whatever the ratio goes up on the average score per visit, but it will go up. So this is Semi-Pro's second visit to the table. The first one ended in a disaster after Larry broke off and left a shot on. I think Semi-Pro potted a ball and then scratched second shot or there or thereabouts. Larry, of course, with that 131 run, it started at -2. Because I think he didn't get enough balls to a rail in the break shot. Well, we still got viewers coming back. Oh, good evening, Mooncake, or Shortcake as I called you last night. But yes, once again, thank you to Mooncake for his donation to my headset. Or else I wouldn't be speaking to you tonight. That needs to stay inside. Oh, this is going to be a toughie. This is a big ass, this one. A pressure shot if ever there was one on this 6 ball, because he's going to do damage, and if he doesn't get the pot, Larry's going to be all over this. Got to get that 6 ball. And in it goes. Cue ball is running safe and everything is available. That is perfect. So the run of the reply is 36 and counting. Now, why would I want a capture card? Bear in mind, I wouldn't know how to fit anything like that on my PC, and I wouldn't be thinking about anything like that. I know my limitations. What? I mean, I don't have a 4K monitor for a start. 1080 is my limit. I know my limitations as far as streaming resolutions go as well. Yeah, it'll be a long while before I do any or spend anything like that on big fancy, what do you call them, monitors and stuff. I mean, I've seen some pretty monitors. I've seen that big, what is it, a big, same as my PC, the Asus Republic of Gamers, Asus ROG. I've got the base, and on what was it? What channel? Squirrel's channel on YouTube, or was it? I think it was YouTube. He did a review on the big Asus. I think it's like a 37 or a 40 odd inch big curved monitor, and it looked bloody gorgeous. But while I was looking at that, I priced it on Google, and it was like bloody 2,700 quid. I thought, all right, well, once they come down to £199, I'll think about it. I'll tell you what I've been thinking of upgrading. I'm thinking about upgrading my webcam and getting the next model up. Or what's that one? Not the next model up, the top of the range Logitech one, the Brio, because it can stream in 60 FPS, which would maybe mean that if you're on the stream, you're not out of sync because you're only at 30 FPS with the webcam at the moment. The run goes to 44. There's a good break ball on the right side rail. There's a good break ball, or a reasonably good break ball in the 12 ball. Again, it's a wee bit away from the pack. The 14 ball up the table would leave Semipro a good chance of getting good on it. Good evening, Mr. Deanster. Welcome to the stream. You've missed Larry's 131 run that he had right at the start of the match. No. Most webcams are all 30 FPS. I've looked at them. And you've got to start spending bigger money to get the higher spec, but pretty much all of them that are HD are just 30 FPS, unless there's a whole new batch come out in the last few weeks that I've missed. But that Brio I would like, but the thing is, it's about 250 quid. Silly prices like that. Well, this Logitech, what one is it I've got? I've got the 920, which is obviously it's older now, but it's good as a webcam. But it is only 30 FPS. And then of course there was a 922 above that, but I don't think the 922 spec's any better than this one that I've got. Did the 922 come with a bloody, what do you call it, a little mini tripod or something like that? I don't think it was any greater spec. Or is it got that built-in background removal software, I think. I think that's what it is. It's got that, it was compatible with whatever it was you called it. But anyway, I use XSplit VCam anyway for the background removal. Well, I mean, an SLR is by far much greater spec, so they are much higher quality lenses and everything on them. So while we are chatting away, Semi-Pro's getting down to the hard work of building up a score, and he's building up a reply. It's 53. Well, that's maybe not a bad thing, Cobra, because I get told you were an ugly bastard. That was, I won't tell you who told me. But some folk are just not designed to use webcams. When you're as pretty as me, you've got no worries in that score. Now, if only Stubb had a webcam, but I'm sure he uses it for his... I'm sure Stubb sits there naked on his webcam and porn channels. Live porn channel. I'm sure that's what Stubb's into. And he sits there on his little webcam. Well, where's the break ball? It looks like the 9. So the 4 ball, the 13 ball in the bottom rail. Now the problem, of course, is that he should maybe play to get on the 11 and try and come off the 11 and out into the table to get rid of that 15. Because that's the problem. Well, he looks as if he's going to risk it now from this side. Now, he doesn't want to brush off that 7 and run into the 9. Because that's on the cards here. Well, he has brushed into the 9. He's pushed it away. It's still there, though. Well, it's good to see that there's only the 3 is still in this room. That means one of two things. That means that there's nobody else interested in it, and that any that are watching the stream, which is good. I'm so used to being all on my own when I'm doing my streaming on my trucks. Well, this is another dodgy shot here for Semipro. He's getting out of shape here. Another very risky shot to keep this run going. And in goes the 9, or whatever it was. Was it the 9? Yes, it was. And he's got a shot. But he's had 2 very testing break shots. Extremely testing, and he's held his nerve. I'll give him that, because they were not easy. And that second one was just as tough. And he's doing his best to hang in here. Well, nothing short of a good response, Cobra. I mean, we all know that. I mean, a run of 20 and 30 and breaking down just ain't going to get him in it. I was actually going to set up XSplit Broadcaster for tonight, but I had to download a new version of it and installed it, and then by the time I'd installed it, and I thought, I can't be arsed. It just takes that bit more setting up the presentation side of stuff, and I didn't have any time to make up some presentation video or introduction videos, so I gave that a knock in the head and thought, let's just quit while we're ahead and stick with Gamecaster. Well, he's got a fair choice of break balls here, because they're all lining up down left and right side of the triangle. Take your pick. Well, the one thing about streaming software has improved like night and day. I mean, they have come on leaps and bounds in the last few years. I mean, XSplit Gamecaster's excellent. Marillus Action is excellent as well. And they're 2 programs that if you're ever going to buy software, I mean, all the cheap people out there use OBS and whatever. But if you're ever going to buy software, you want to buy software where you're not getting ripped off. And you also want to buy software where they've got a good customer support. By far the best customer support is XSplit. I'd recommend that to anybody, especially if you're a numpty. Oh, that's gone wrong. That has gone wrong for him. Now, is he going to pot the 7 and risk breaking these out? Yeah, that's fine. You know, if you're only ever going to do something now and again, yeah, you don't need to invest in software. But if you are going to invest in software, do what I did. I bought a lifetime account or a lifetime license for XSplit, and I've had issues with my XSplit where I lost my when I updated XSplit at one time. Before they updated it to version 4, my Gamecaster lost my on-screen annotations, sorry, and I had problems with it. And I told the guy at the customer service that, you know, they do live customer help, and obviously they're based in the States, and I was online with them, and I was telling them what the problem was. Since your last update, this on-screen annotation doesn't work, and he gave me a link to download an older version, and it's the older version I'm using now, and I have been ever since, because the new version of Gamecaster is entirely different from what I'm using now. They've made it more like XSplit Broadcaster so that you can do on-screen overlays and all that crap, but it doesn't have annotations in the new version, which is why I've never upgraded to it. But the other benefit of Gamecaster and XSplit Broadcaster is when you buy a lifetime license for them, that's it. You don't have to keep renewing it every year. You've got free customer support. The guys are excellent because they know what they were talking about. You're not talking to some half-wit that's there for the day and doesn't know anything. So I've had loads of help from them whenever I've needed it, and they've always got it sorted. And there are plenty of things. I mean, I had that game player, whatever it was, for a year, and then when the year's up, they wanted you to keep renewing it. And then of course they're now out of business. They no longer exist, and then that's why they no longer exist, because folk don't want ripped off. They will go elsewhere, which I certainly did. Well, now Semipro is clutching at straws here because he's dead straight in the 15. The run is 77, and he's going to have to take his medicine and run for cover. Yeah, he's gone all out, but it was never going to happen. The run is 78, but it's a good response from Semipro, which puts a bit of pressure on Larry to keep it tight, because he doesn't want to give Semipro another go. Yeah, OBS is it's like a free version of XSplit Broadcaster. It does pretty much everything that Broadcaster does, and if you want to add titles to your stream, and like I do with it, put the names of the players at the bottom of the screen, add flags and all of this stuff, put introduction videos to the stream. You can do all of that stuff with both of those programs. They're just a bit more detailed. They've got loads of apps that come with them. If you want to add on-screen chat from Twitch and that sort of stuff. But I find using Restream, it mixes all the chat for you. So why do you need any other apps? So Semipro is back in, although he's going to be hard pushed to get much from this, especially where he's sat right now. Now that 9 ball does go if he was to get on it. I'm not talking about now, I'm talking about if he pots at 11, but that is tough, right over the pack. Now he's trying to convince himself there was something on there, but he's decided against it. He was just looking around, playing it safe. I'll have a quick drink if I can find my bottle. I think I'm going to have to get into my reserve bottle. Well, this is a tall order off this 11 ball to get on any other ball. Loads of inside. Trying to get down for the 6. And he's pretty much got there. And he's going to have to punch this in with maybe a wee feather of inside as well. Not an awful lot, but he needs a bit of luck. Oh, how is his luck? He's on the 2. Once again though, once he's potted the 2, He must leave himself some sort of angle off this 13, because there's nothing there. There's nothing he can get on. The 10 ball is very tight. He would really need to get over here for that 10. And he's trying to get the angle to slide that 13 in. He's got the angle, and now he needs a nice hit. There's your top down view for the night. He gets the bonus ball of the 3. Well, now he's struggling. Called the 14. He's going to have to cut that 4 away. That's going to have to go that way to get that point. He's played it well. Well, again, it hasn't landed perfect this. In fact, it's going to have to be another combo. And this is cued over the 8 ball. So the 12 has been called. But he's going to play it off the 10. Now he's thinking about it either way. None of them are easy. But it was a tall order, and Larry has his chance. Semi's visit ends on 7. The score's 128 to Larry, 84 to Semipro. And Larry's got a start. And that 10 ball will do very nicely, thank you very much. Although, he's got to get well up the table here, off this 7. He doesn't want to be chickening out and going short, he needs to get right up the table. I don't mean onto the bottom rail, but he doesn't want to go halfway, he wants to get there. And that will do. He had to get well up the table. And now it's about controlling the pace again, because the natural angle's there to bring the cue ball out into the table. He doesn't want to fall short. He doesn't want to leave a bedhead cut in this 10 ball. That needs to slow up a bit. It's going straighter and straighter. And he's going to have to get the amp on and a bit of draw into this to do any disturbance. He's far too straight. And he's okay though. Brought the 2 into play and he's got balls to work with here. I don't know whether you guys, I mean obviously this BBC Scotland up here, we have our local news, and I don't know whether you guys, especially the guys from the UK I'm talking about in the stream, if you heard about the inquest to the Cameron House fire. Now the Cameron House Hotel is a well-known hotel on the banks of Loch Lomond in Scotland, and there was a fire in the hotel a couple of years ago where people died in the fire, and it was the inquest came to the conclusion that the fire started, and you won't believe this when you hear it. There's like I mean, because it's a sort of traditional big Scottish hotel, they have open fires in the hotel. In the big lounge, they'll have a big open fire, and it'll be big lumps of firewood they have on it and whatever. So these fires have to be cleaned out, and they have to empty the ashes. And this porter, or whatever his job was in the hotel, one of his jobs was to clean out the fireplace and get rid of the embers and the ashes out the fire. And seemingly, he put these into a bag, and he put them into a cupboard which had combustible materials in it. And these ashes and embers are supposed to be then shipped out to the metal bins that they have out the back of the hotel so they can be collected. And they put them into this bloody cupboard. And needless to say, the whole place caught fire and people died in the hotel. I mean, talk about a health and safety breach. I could not believe that when I heard that on the news, that they would actually have a fireplace where the ashes were stored in a bloody cupboard. That was just asking for trouble like that. So needless to say, this guy's going to get jailed. The company will have been fined millions in insurance. And people lost their lives because of some stupid setup that they have. Their safety regulations were torn to shreds by the court findings. And they'll end up having to pay millions in compensation. Absolutely lunacy to be storing ashes in the building, actually on the premises. It's just a nightmare scenario waiting to happen, and the bloody thing happened. Anyway, Larry is on 140, Semipro on 84, and Larry has a problem to deal with. Yeah, he would have done what he was told. That's how they actually dealt with the cinders and the ashes. Yep, that's how they dealt with them. Store them in a cupboard and then take them out in the morning. I mean, what a crazy bloody idea. Good evening, Jose. You're a bit late to the party. Somebody better put Spanish subtitles up for Jose. I should point out that I think all of my streams on my channel have subtitles enabled, so you can actually go in if you watch the video at a later time, and you can press a little, I don't know whether it's a cog or one of the buttons, but that allows you to choose your particular subtitle. Now obviously you can choose English if you don't understand what I'm saying. Oh, Twitch has gone down. I've bored them to death. Well, does that mean you wear hearing aids, Jose? If your listening is terrible, you won't be able to hear Spanish either. So we have a break ball for Larry. The 11 ball is looking good. And he's also looking good to get on it. As long as he can just stun behind this 7, get rid of the 7, run up the table for the 14, into the right middle, and then he'll be sitting pretty good on that 11 ball. I can count to, what is it? I can count to 10 in Spanish. You know how I can count to 10 in Spanish? If Mark's still there, he's probably gone to bed. But I used to watch Sesame Street. I'm talking about the original Sesame Street back in the 70s, and they used to count in Spanish on Sesame Street. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis, siete, ocho, nueve, diez. There you go. I learned that in Sesame Street, folks. And for a small fee, I'll sing the Sesame Street theme tune. And the other Spanish I learned was "Hasta la vista, baby." The count. I go back to Big Bird and Oscar the Grouch, Eric, what do you call him? Ernie, and what's his name? What was the name of the other one? I've forgotten his name. Ernie and Bert. Aye, Bert and Ernie. And Oscar the Grouch. I liked Oscar the Grouch. He was my kind of guy. Hey, Bert! Bert! Of course, it was Frank Oz, and it was all of them that did the Muppets that did it. What's his name? Him that did Kermit. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. I used to do all that. So Larry is looking to take this match away from Semipro. The run is 22. Oh, Stubbs gone to bed. Well past his bedtime. Middle of the afternoon. Now, can he see that 7 ball? No, he can't. So he's going to have to stun across off this 8. I don't think he wants to be running forward. He wants to stun this in and miss the bunch. Much as you'd want to hit the bunch, but he wants to just miss them. And he's still got the 7. I'll tell you about a customer I had the other day. That was funny. I've got this theory in the store that it's married men in particular that get sent out by the wife to go and do the shopping, and they're not fully trained to do the job properly. And this is an experience that I've had where lots of guys come into the store, and you're busy working, and a guy comes up to you and he says, now I don't know what it's like down in England or anywhere else in the world, but in Scotland, if somebody says to me, if I was going to the store and somebody said, look, make sure you get a packet of ham. A packet of ham, to me, is actually bacon for frying. That's what my mother used to call it. And in Scotland, a lot of people would call bacon ham. Because it is ham, it's essentially ham anyway, but to cut a long story short, this guy comes up to me, and this is how the conversation went. He says, and bearing in mind that this proves my theory about untrained husbands being sent out to get something in a store, but not been fully equipped to do the job, and I seem to get lumbered with them in the store. I must have the type of face that attracts these guys. They must come in and say, well, there's an idiot there, I'll go and talk to him, because I get them all the time. He came in and he walked up and he said, can you tell me where the ham is? Right? And I said, and of course my brain thinks, right, well, okay. I said, is that the bacon you're looking for? He says, no, the ham. So, second attempt. I said, do you mean the cooked ham? The sliced ham in the other aisle? No. He says, no, the serrano ham. And I thought, I mean, do I turn round to this guy and say, well, why the fuck could you not have said serrano ham in the first place, you half-wit idiot, and slapped him round the back of the head? That's what I'm thinking. But that proves my point about guys who come into a store, they're on their own, the wife is either out in the car or at home, but he's not been fully trained to go and do shopping, and consequently to get straight to the point and ask the right bloody question instead of 3 questions to find out what the hell he wants. I mean, I've had more than that over the years. You know, numpties coming in, wasting your time, yours and theirs, by just asking stupid questions. Or not asking straight to the point. Unbelievable. Mr. Fox has been muted for 10 minutes because swearing at me because I asked why he joined a tournament and didn't join. I said it was no big deal, I was just asking. Oh dear. Well, you see, Simon, you know, you should not be sent out to do shopping if you're anything like that numpty that I had. You know, you should come in with everything written down, the full instructions of what to ask for and where to go to get it. Oh, you can't beat a bit of fried. I mean, it's like if you've ever watched the Pub Landlord, he'll give you an explanation about why bacon was sent from God. If you watch that little sketch that he does about bacon, it's very true. It brings you back to life. Yeah, I've never been shopping before. This is my first time, says Simon with the 2 kids, the trolley and the parrot on his shoulder. You're joking, Simon. Sent you out for a lettuce and come back with a cabbage. Is that you being honest? Well, Larry's struggled there to get a break. Yeah. Now, what a crazy combo this is for Larry. Look at that. That's not on because that 3 ball's hitting the 13 too thin. Well, I can believe that, Simon, but that's an example, though, daft as it is, but that's an example of the sort of stupid things, and it's usually always guys that do it. You very rarely get a woman come in and ask you something stupid like that, because most of them, you know, have a built-in radar and they know where they're going. I mean, I've had guys walk up to me and say, "Where's the frozen chips?" while I'm actually in the medicine part of the store. I mean, I might be picking up a packet of paracetamol for a customer, and I've got a guy who walks up to me and says, "Where's your frozen chips?" And you almost want to say, "They're over in the clothing department, you bloody half-wit. Where do you think the frozen chips are? Go and find the frozen section in the store. Read the bloody signs. How stupid are you? You want me to take your hand and put you right next to where the chips are?" Good God. Unbelievable that these people are allowed to actually mix with normal human beings. Well, Semipro is back in. And Larry, 160 to 84. Oh, listen, I'll tell you another good one. This was a few years ago. I I was down at the front of the store, and in a Tesco store they have the power aisle in the big store, or at least in our store they do, which basically means, you walk into any customer walks into the store, and as you're walking down the main entrance in the store, you've got all the special offers on the right hand side. So, the washing powder's reduced, the toilet rolls are reduced. That's what they call the power aisle. I had a guy walk up to me, this was like early in the morning, and I was picking stuff that was there, I can't remember what it was. And he said, and he lifted out a note, his shopping list, and he says to me, can you give me a hand to do my shopping? I says, no, I'm afraid I can't. Can you not see that I'm actually shopping for a customer at the moment? I says, if you need a hand to get your shopping done, you want to go over to customer services and let them help you. He was expecting me to drag him round the shop, take him to all the things that he wanted, and send him on his way. I mean, these are people that don't want to think for themselves. And I'm not saying this guy had a screw loose, or he wasn't he wasn't playing with a full deck, if you know what I mean. This was just a guy that couldn't be asked to go and find things. And so I said to him, I said, no, I'm sorry, I'm actually busy picking for a customer. I've got a customer waiting to get these goods, and I can't just drop what I'm doing to go and sort you out. They come to the wrong guy when they expect me to do stupid things like that for them. I mean, you get people walking into the produce department, where all the fruit and veg is. There only is one produce department in the store. And they walk in and they say, can you tell me where the onions are? You feel like saying, look, take a step back, have a little walk around, and you might be surprised what you find. That they just cannot be bothered just to look and read things and look at signs. But you should, I think, at least once a day. This is a rule I would bring in. I think that any customer that comes up to me and asks me a stupid question, I should at least be allowed to slap them around the head once every day. And that would make me enjoy my job better and actually feel better for it. Because you do get some half-wits coming in. Well, here's Semipro trying to get good on this, eh? Is he going to go straight again? Oh dear. Yeah. He's going to need a lot of dig here. I'll tell you a funny story as well. When I used to work in Curry's, which is for anybody that doesn't know, is an electrical retailer. I used to sell washing machines, TVs, computers, you name it. I had a guy come in, and this was an alcoholic. His idea of a good night in was actually getting himself arrested, so he could be in a warm cell for the night. I mean, I'm being serious when I say that. He didn't. I don't think he had an abode. Big mistake by Semi there. But anyway, and he was bad on his feet. So combining the fact that he drank, he had bad legs, so he used to walk with 2 sticks. And he would come into the store, and every so often he'd come in to buy another radio, because obviously the one that he had, he's lost it when he's been drunk, or he's sold it to somebody, or it's been pinched off him. He came in one morning, and of course I wasn't that long in the store, so naturally they sent Shug the Mug down to talk to him. And I went down to talk to him, and the next thing you know, he keeled over onto what used to be the CD radio cassettes. You know, the big ghetto blaster things. He keeled over onto them, fell right across them, and it took 2 hours to get him up. And then when we got him up, his trousers fell down. I'm talking in Scottish there. His trousers fell down round his ankles. So there's me standing at the front of the store. My colleague dutifully disappeared up the back of the store while I was left holding this guy's trousers and trying to strap them back up for him. Oh dear. That was embarrassing, probably more for me than it was for him, because I don't think he knew where he was. Oh, that was a good one. Yeah. Well, Semipro hasn't quite got to 3 figures. He's on 97, but he's given Larry another chance. Well, that's exactly. I don't think he had an address really, but that was his ambition for the day. Making sure he got himself arrested. Well, Larry's blown it big time there, and Semi-Pro's got a lifeline. And that's the type of thing Larry did against Albinario. He had those little errors coming in, and it's infectious, this. Larry's caught the bug off Semi-Pro, and Semi-Pro's score will look a lot better when he gets to 3 figures. That's why you've got to keep 100% focus all of the time. But the match has been on for 2 hours and 9 minutes now. You know, so keeping that concentration and focus, it begins to wear on you as time goes on. I think I've told this story about the guy that used to come into the store as well, who knew the assistant manager. The assistant manager was a guy who would do anything for you. You know, this was back in the day when you needed your video tuned in and everything. And I used to do it as well. Whenever I sold a video to a customer, to get the sale, you'd say, listen, if you're getting it the day, I'll tune it in for you. Or I would also drop it off at their address and connect it up to their telly. We would do that. All part of the service. And if it meant you getting a sale instead of Clydesdale as it used to be, and the other stores that were open at the time. So anyway, we used to do that. So there was time and again we'd go to customers' houses to fix up their telly, tune it in, or they would phone in saying, I can't get this tuned in. So we would do that. And there's this guy who always would come in and see the deputy manager. He wouldn't talk to anybody else. He would only deal with him because he knew he'd come out and fix things for him. Anyway, he had a problem with his satellite, or he had a problem with his video, I think it was. And so anyway, Jim, the assistant manager, went out to his house one night, and he went into the house, and I think this is when you had your video and your DVD stacked under the television in the unit. But on top of the television where his satellite box was, the satellite box was sitting on top of the TV. On top of the television, there was a kettle sitting on top of the satellite box on top of the TV. And Jim, the assistant manager, said, "Why is that there?" And the guy said, because it improves my reception. It stopped his picture breaking up in his satellite, he thought. And so that's why this kettle was sitting on top of this satellite box. And he wouldn't let him move it. Or at least if he did move it to actually do something, he made sure he had to put it back. That's the sort of crazy ideas that folk get. Well, Semipro has been handed a chance from Larry, but Semipro's gone bolt straight on the 12. And Semipro's visit is just 9. Well, he's called safety. He's thinking again, but in all honesty, he's not going to do much from this. He's trying to steal it and go around the corner. And he's got a shot. He's got a cut into the middle. He's got the 8 ball up past the 2, which is a bit tight when you're not looking straight down the line of it. So 6 into the middle. Well, this match isn't over. And if Semipro can get himself sorted here, we may well have a match on. Is he going to take the 9? Perfect opportunity. And they have split all over the place. Plenty to choose from, plus a break ball. So again, it's looking good. As long as he can get his pattern right to get there. Has to get rid of the 7. Well, Larry's attempted, was it the attempted break shot, or I can't remember now, but it's one error that could cost him big time. Semipro on Nelson, 1-1-1, quickly goes to 1-1-2. So anybody that hasn't heard it, go to Google and Google Nelson, and put cricket and put Nelson in. That'll give you an explanation, or Wikipedia will give you an explanation about Nelson. If he gets into the gap, he'll take the 7 now. He might take the 5 next, seeing as he's actually dead on it from the 7. He could come back out for the 10, but the 5's just as good to go now as anything, if he wants. No, he won't be taking it now. He'll take the 10, but he's a bit straight. He's going to have to pop this around the corner, or he's going to have to stun it really firm. There's not an awful lot of angle to work with in that shot. And there's a bit of thinking to be done here. Well, he can just see the 9, but that's no good because that's his break ball. 5 he wants to get rid of. It's tight, and he's used the rail and the pocket. Plenty of room to get there. And now the critical one. The run is 22. He is 45 behind. And all of a sudden, 45 doesn't sound quite as far away. Oh dear. He's run into the 9 and killed it. And here endeth the run. And that's a bit of a disaster. So 44 behind. Was Larry going to take the bait here? Is Larry going to push the boat out? Well, knowing Larry and what he's been like over the years, he's going to take this hook, line and sinker. This is a big shot choice here from Larry, because he might be lucky if he clips the pack. He could end up getting up the table on nothing and get no benefit of this shot whatsoever. Big shot, big mistake if it doesn't work out, big risk. And he's erred on the cautious side. He's rolled it in. Now, if only that had finished there, he would have been laughing. He would have been on there, and these were all over the place. He's going to do it off the 9-0. But he played that shot the right way. Just pocket weight so he didn't do any damage. But now he can. And he has to, again, not take his eye off the 9. The cue ball's going to hit the pack. And we've got a circle of balls here. The top and the 2 corner balls are missing. So we've got a hexagon. And look at the way they've split open. It was like a flower opening its petals there. And they're all over the shop. And this is perfect. Albeit the break ball's not ideal, but he'll worry about that when he gets there. He might use one of these on the back rail again. But this now is a chance for Larry to take it beyond the reach of Semipro. Well, that's what it's all about. You know, every other night it can work out fine, and then things don't just fall into place. You always need that luck. So the lead is 48. I think he could well be leaving this 12 ball as a break shot. The 12 ball is actually almost just to the left of the middle diamond, but it's in a pretty good place when it comes to it. It gives him a good distance from the right hand side to play the break shot. You know, if the cue ball was a wee bit lower down from where it is right now, it'd be ideal for the break shot. But again, it's going into that back of the pack. And it's not always the best way to do it. But sometimes you don't have that choice. Sometimes the way these balls are lying, you've not got an awful lot to work with for a break shot. I mean, the 15 is above the pack. It's not great. It means you have to get a good line to it. And the 7 ball on the right hand side might be passable for the break shot, but once again it's a bit high as well. So I think it could possibly be the 12. You'd need to obviously get rid of the 6 as well, which you could do from this 7. Now, if he's going to play the 12, it's then a question of where the ball is that's going to get him good on it. Now, can he see the 4? Well, obviously he's not played for it, but he may well. I would have thought running through in the 15 would be getting good on the 12 for the break. See, if he's to pot the 3, he's just going to run straight up the table and leave himself an awkward shot here. You've got to be careful with this. This is dead straight, so he might well just come back. Yeah, just back far enough for the 4. Excuse me. But this isn't great to get good in the 15. He's got to play a good shot here. Now, if he was to come back out into the table to take the 15 into the same pocket, it's going to be a narrower cut. But it would at least allow him just to drop onto the right-hand side. He's gone short big time. So now he may well have changed. He may well have had a totally different idea of what I was thinking. So he's going to have to get up the table and over to the right. But again, the problem with that 15 ball is it's too high on the pack. You've got to get really, really good. He certainly doesn't want to go way inside on the right hand side. He'll have no shot. That's why he's taking his time. I mean, from here, he's got a chance. From here, forget it. Well, he's gone way inside. I think he won't hit the pack from here by the look of it. Will he? No. He's going to have to maybe go around the corner here. He's going to have to. There's one way of doing this to be sure you're going to hit the pack, and that would be to cut that ball with inside left English, stun it to the rail, kick around, and into the pack that way. I don't think he can get there. He's got a wee. Has he got anything on it? I don't see much on it to get around the angles. Unless he thinks he can get there by using what he's got. Well, you see what I mean, guys? He was never I mean, the pot was hard enough. But the angle that he had to not only cut it in, but it might have been too thin. But the inside English would have punched it onto the rail to come that way. It would have reacted better, but I think the angle was nowhere near great for any of those shots. And at Larry's run ends in 14, Semipro has been reprieved. But that all boiled down to the choice of shots there for Larry. It didn't fall into place. And, well, if he'd listened to me earlier on in the rack, he should have left the 12 ball where it, or the whatever ball it was in the bottom rail there. He should have left that as a break shot. It was his best opportunity than trying to get good on an awkward ball in the middle of the table. I mean, whenever that ball's out here, like that, you know, the ball's out there and you're having to run round here to get down here. As soon as you overhit it, it's so high that you're going to skim past the pack. So it was never a good break ball. This ball that was here was ideal if he'd played to lie there and then get the break. So he should have listened to the commentator again. You should have had the stream on there, Larry. You wouldn't have been in that position. But Larry has an easy safety, and if he can get that dead weight more or less like that, that is a good safety. I mean, another 6 inches to the rail would have been fine. Larry loses a point. He won't worry about that. Semipro has just pushed to the end rail. And Larry on 1 foul, Semipro on 1 foul. And Larry using the pack to hide those 2 loose balls. And again, we're left with a hexagon. The top ball and the 2 corner balls have gone again. A hexagon. That's a good word. Oh, that's gone wrong. That is a big blunder from Semipro. Trying something similar to his safety brake. And he's let Larry in. And if Larry goes full booner for this, he can get right into the pack here. And Larry, if this works out, could be well on his way to the final. He's got to get right into these, right into the meat of them to get them to open. Oh, he's missed them completely. Unbelievable. Such a big target. And of course, at that pace, whatever you do with the cue ball doesn't get the time to react to actually do what you were trying to do with the cue ball, which is probably another reason it missed the pack. Oh, what does he try here? Because that's a big chance gone to go for the jugular. He needs a nice kiss and anything to come out, and he's missed him again. And Semipro breathes again. So Larry, well, he was 21 away. He's now 22 away. And again, he's doing the sensible thing. It's a lot easier to lose a point than it is to break the pack open and leave Semipro a sniff. You know, when you're in this position, you defend your lead. And you use all the rules in the book to your advantage. And this is a dangerous one, because if he's not going to go to 2 fouls, he's got to get to a rail. But he's got to do as little movement as he can, so it has to be feather touch thin. That 7 ball could squirt out at the bottom of the pack. Now, has he got the pace right, or has he squirted out himself? He's okay as far as that goes. Let's have a look closer at this. Well, Larry's nailed to the 12. Now there's nothing to stop him just rolling to the rail and back into the pack. Just to this side rail here. Well, that's him on a foul again. Semipro can punch the 8 ball, but has he played the 7 into play, or has he got cover? Well, he's okay. That was dangerous. Well, this is also a tricky one for Larry. Is he trying to get up the table? He's got to get there. And he's got there. He's just got there. That has ended up being a good shot, but it was just a fraction the other way, and Semi would have been able to see that 7 ball. Well, that's a big mistake. Is that going to be the fatal last shot by Semipro in this match? It won't be if Larry can't get into that cluster. And there's nothing set in that little hexagon of balls. Nothing set at all. The 10 ball just goes. Oh dear. Well, Larry's losing concentration at the wrong time. He's still 22 away. The visitors won. And this is similar to what happened in the Albinario match. Larry had that strong lead, and then those little errors just crept in. And fatigue is setting in. We've been 2.5 hours at this. And I'm tired just sitting here watching it. These guys have been concentrating solid for 2.5 hours. And the wear and tear is just beginning to show in Larry. And Semipro is 58 behind. With one problem to deal with. Well, Semipro was saying he hasn't been getting them breaking as well, but he's made his fair share of errors though as well, combined with that. But is everything going to fall into place just at the right time? We'll soon find out in the next 20 minutes or so, depending on how long he intends to stay at the table, but we'll certainly be here for a little while yet. Now, can he see enough of the 12? That's a bit tight. Now, when you think back, that run of Larry's, that 131, he's only put on 47 points since then, and that was a long while ago. So he has stalled in a way, and those little errors are just allowing Semipro to peg back, albeit in fits and starts, because he's had his own errors crept in. But if he can get it together, he might be a hell of a lot closer by the end of this visit. He's going behind the 5 and 12 to take one of them out. Now the slight problem with this is he's going to nudge the 12. He just wants to gently nudge it and leave the 8, possibly. So the 12 ball is all set. Evening Bedhead, you're a bit late in the go. You've missed Larry's high run for the tournament, 131 right at the start of the match. But it's just threatening to come off the rails here for Larry. Semipro, he had a response, so I think it was 64 or something that he got. It's certainly a half decent run to get himself started in the match, not really back into it, but this is as good a chance as any. But he's the wrong side again with this 10 ball. He's going to have to blast this nuclear style, as Stubb would say, to get anything good coming out of this pack. Oh, there's Albie there. Was Albie there earlier on? What is it with Swedes turning up at the end of the bloody match? And setting match times at 9 o'clock at night so I can't stream them. So basically what you're saying, you think he's going to run out? Well, here Larry's got a perfect chance. A little skim off the 15, get it down onto that bottom rail. Doesn't want to leave that 15 as a combo though. Yeah, he's nudged it thicker. I don't see anything set there. Four ball doesn't go. Cue ball's going to go though. That ain't staying up on the table, is it? Nope. Now, what can Larry do here? Not much. Have a good look round the pack, but there ain't anything there for Larry to get at. Well, I don't know whether he's looking to overcut this or he's going all out for the cut. It would actually be better if he overcut it and just got the cue ball to safety. Let's see what he's thinking. See, if you overcut it to the side rail, it's going to go to the bottom rail and the cue ball's going to come back up the table here. He's playing this with a bit of right hand side. He's looking to chip the pack here with this 4-ball. This is a big risk. Yeah, that was a big risk. And I think he's got out of jail. And he's got out big time. That was not the shot to be taken on, Larry. Okay, if you get it and you get some luck, you're a hero. But it is an extremely risky shot to be taken. And Semipro, I think it's all out for the cut in the 10. And in it goes, in off the point. Used as much as a pocket as he could. But he's dead straight in the 4. He's just going to have to roll through. It's going to be awkward. Unless he wants to pinch something. Yep. And now he's ended up in no man's land. Yeah, it's a tall order here. He's going to have to go all out for the combo of the cut in the 11 and get up the table to this left-hand side for the 3-ball from distance. I don't know why he's looking at the combo. I'd be more inclined to take the 11 unless he thinks he can make this 13 go, and he's blasted it. Didn't get a chance to get there, but he's got it in. And more importantly, he's still at the table. He's got a shot. And Larry, well, the beads of sweat will just beginning to be breaking out in his brow right now. Because he knows he shouldn't have taken that on. He should have overcut it. Where he was with that ball, and he was up here, he should have overcut it so that it was going there to there. And that cue ball was going up there, well out of harm's way. It was a tall order at such a thin angle to not only pot the ball, but to get a hit in the pack that was going to be any benefit to him. It was really very risky. A very high percentage shot, or a very high tariff shot. And well, Semipro creeps ever closer. And all Semipro wants is a break ball and a shot. If the voice will hold up. It's threatening to go. Well, the problem ball, we can see it. That is pretty tight, that 6-ball. In fact, that is so tight, it's about half a millimetre. Half a millimetre, less than that off the rail. And that is not easy to get at. And combine that with the fact he stuck the 7 there as well. It is a really tough shot. And that is no way to play the 6. He's just going to have to cut and run. There's no way he's going to be able to do anything with that 6-ball. Well, he's trying his best to get there. He's going to have to go big time safety. There's no value in trying to do anything with this. As he got there though, well, it's not going to be any major damage, because unless Larry can find a line to blast this 6 in, get down there and hit the pack somewhere. I don't know whether that's a good enough line, but it has to be something like that, unless he wants to go any other rails. But it might be too... No, there's a line there in the 6. Let's see if we can find it. Oh, he's missed the 6. Where's the cue ball going? Well, things are going from bad to worse for Larry, because that 6 ball goes, and what's more, Semi-Pro's got a break shot to get into them. And it's all threatening to fall apart here for Larry after such a strong start. He's still on 178. He's been stuck there for the last half an hour or more on 178. He can't get past it, and each time Semi-Pro creeps ever closer. And he's looking good for another stack of points here. And Semi-Pro is 35 behind. And Larry's made more mistakes in this match than what he did in his last 2 matches. And those warning signs were there in the Albinario match, but he came good in those last 2 matches, but the concentration's just beginning to wither slightly here, because the one thing about those other 2 matches where I think they were a fair bit quicker than this has gone. We're already 2 hours and 44 minutes into this one. And we could well break the 3-hour barrier for a race to 200. But who's going to fall over the line? That's a big question. But if you're going to give somebody like Semi-Pro enough opportunities, then at some point it's going to fall into place, and Semi-Pro will start scoring. And all the time he's narrowing the gap. And that bead of sweat on Larry's brow is now beginning to trickle. And that one has gone to a problem stage, or a problem position. What ball is it? The 15? That is not pretty where that is sitting, although it's off the rail. But it's just another distraction. And the other problem, of course, is the 13 and the 9. They're not looking good. So, problems ahead here. So now he's perfect to get rid of the problem ball, but can he brush through and spin into these 2? Or is he trying to just drop dead behind him? I think he's just trying to lie on him, and that'll do nicely. So now we've got the break ball. He still, in theory, has a choice, but the 9 looks good. How does that look? Well, he's going to have to stun this firm or run from a distance here for this 9. Yeah, he's played the stun. He's gone past the parallel. He's just gone inside. It's another testy one. But these should break pretty good, as long as he doesn't lock up. And he's got the break ball. He's got a bonus ball, cue ball running up and down the table. And he's got a shot. The 1 ball will do. The 12 ball will do into the right middle. He may well favour the 12 as his first shot, because he can get clean through to it. He's settled in the 1. So Semi-Pro's run goes to 18. He's only 18 behind. And by the time this rack is over, he's going to be breathing right down Larry's neck. And while Semi-Pro is at the table, I'm just going to have a quick look at the bracket. Just give me a sec. The Cobra match with Albinario, the deadline for that is the 28th. So if I'm ever going to drop a hint to any of these two guys about when the match should be played, it should be played on Tuesday night, Wednesday night, or if it's going to be Thursday, it should be 7 o'clock at the latest. There you go, guys. Because 7 o'clock, even if it goes 3 hours, which it won't, it would still mean I'd be getting to bed at a reasonable enough time to get up for work the next day. No, you've got till the 28th. You've plenty of time, but you know, if it was during the week, my days off are, once I finish my shift on Tuesday, I've got the rest of Tuesday and Tuesday night. I've got all of Wednesday and Wednesday night. I've got Thursday night if it was 7 o'clock at the latest. Or 8 o'clock Swedish time, that is. So you want to play tomorrow? Ah, I read that wrong. I thought you said so won't play tomorrow. My eyes are going at this time of night as well. That's even with classes on. Well, likewise, if it was tomorrow night, not a problem as long as it's like 7 o'clock. Well, that means it'll be 10 o'clock again. Well, see, even if it was during the week, 8:30 or 9:30 a.m. from Monday. Well, if that was Tuesday at 9:30, I won't be here. I'll be at work. 7 p.m. is too early for Albinario. The kids are still running around, screaming and getting in his way. What the hell's happened there? I've missed that reading the chat. Well, what has happened is Semipro scratched. And Larry has ball in hand to win the match. The run ends in 27. Semipro is 9 behind. Well, let's get this match over with first. I missed that there. I missed the whole sequence of what happened there reading that chat. Well, Larry has got to gather his thoughts here. What's that thing you get? What age are we talking about these kids? 3 and 4, Albie. 5 and 6. Drug them. Give them that Calpol stuff. That'll set them off to sleep. Or whatever the hell it is they give the kids. How can you not watch the match and chat at the same time? I don't understand that question. How can you not watch the match and chat at the same time? Oh yeah, you should be able to drug them. Nip out and buy a bottle of Calpol or whatever. Is that the stuff? Is that not like sleeping liquid for kids? Oh, this has gone wrong. I don't know what the hell Larry's trying there. But that's gone wrong big time. I don't believe he wanted to be playing this 2-ball from where he is there. So this is a testy one. Well, that's right. I understand it now. No, I'm too busy reading the chat. Takes my eye off the focus in the game. Well, Larry's got the 2-ball. And he can breathe again. But he's going to need another rack to finish this match. That is a great idea. Even if she's in Finland, you can drive over all day tomorrow, get rid of the kids, and then come home. But if you have to take a break during the match to take one of them to the bathroom or whatever, there won't be a problem with that. As long as you don't forget to come back to the computer. Well, where's Larry's break ball? Again, there's nothing ideal, and there's a lot can go wrong on that 10-ball if that's the one he's chosen. Bear in mind that there's nothing else anywhere near as good as that. With these gummy bears, are they not full of sugar? That'll make them hyperactive. The kids will be screaming all night if they ate them, I think. Or are they drugged as well? Well, we've got a 4-ball up the table over that top right hand corner pocket. Now, it's going to be the 8-ball, the 4-ball. He's going to be a mile away from this 10-ball. Yeah, this is not going to be easy. Larry is 9 away. He's going to be playing this from distance, and he's pretty straight. He's going to have to force this big amp on, big stun, and don't miss the 10. So just half a tip below and get that stun working. And he's missed the 10. Oh dear, Larry. Have you got lucky? He has got lucky. Big time. He has got himself out of jail there. And that could have been a disaster. And Larry is 8 short of the finish line. And he had to try with all his might with that shot to get anywhere into the pack. But he couldn't have asked for a better result. The combo isn't on. Or the combo is on if he's really desperate. I mean, you've got to play it into the rail to get it to cut that 14 along. He's got to bounce it into the rail and play the cut, but he's used common sense there. It's on a knife edge here. The next mistake could cost either the match. But Larry's luck, if it holds out, especially with that shot he's just played, he'll live to survive another day. But again, Larry's pushing the boat out here. This is a big risk on this 6 ball. This is going for the match. And he's missed it by the country mile. And Larry's just shot himself right in the foot. And Semipro, well, Christmas has come early here for Semipro. Larry stalled in 192. That shot there is the big sellout and could be his last of the match if Semipro can get it together. Well, if you look at the score now, you wouldn't believe that Larry had 131 run. Because in the last hour and a half or thereabouts, he's only scored 61 points. He's made 5 or 6 errors. That one, his most recent one. And is it going to be fatal? Well, we've also got a break ball, so Semipro. Let's have a look at this 2 and 7. The 2 and 7 is not difficult to make as a combo. It doesn't need to be disturbed. As long as you can get here, you can make that combo every time. It's not a position to be alarmed about. The bailout ball's up the table as well, so he's looking good. Now, if he can, I thought he could see that 13, but he can't, so he's going to have to bail out or cut the 9. Well, the match is just about 30 seconds short of 3 hours. And who would have thought we would have got to this stage? Well, it's bailout ball this time. He might take that combo now that he's reasonable enough on it. Maybe, let's have a look. I think he should take that now. He might not get any better on it. I mean, it's not difficult. It's an easy enough cut to make that combo. If you leave it and you leave it, you might never get anywhere near as good on it. Well, that goes. Well, I'm thinking he's wanting to leave the 1. Well, that's exactly it in a sentence, Bedhead. You know, Larry misses the break shot, and then, I mean, that shot I would never ever have contemplated cutting that 6 ball. You know, Larry's desperate to get to the finishing line. His patience has ran out, and he's just selling himself out doing it. And Semi can get the break in those 2 balls if he wants, which he has done. He's still got his break shot. But, you know, that is just not the shot to be taken. But it's just wear and tear. 3 hours at the table, 3 hours concentrating solid. And those little weaknesses have set in a big way for Larry. It was always a worry. It could have went badly wrong against Albinario. He got through it. Albi couldn't get the run that he needed to pinch that match, but Semipros had umpteen chances. And you give him enough, he's going to score them. And here's the break. He's only 9 behind. Well, I would reckon. Well, where's the cue ball going, Semi? Oh dear, it's turned again, the match. I better watch I don't wake the neighbour here, I'm getting excited. But would you believe it, Semipro has scratched again, and Larry has been gifted the chance to go over the line, but he's going to need more than what's open here. He's got 8 to get, he's got 3, he's got 6, well, he's got 7 if you include the 10 ball in the open. So he needs to move something. There's 1. Well, Semipro, he has scratched, what, 4 or 5 times in a match himself. But that could well be the vital one. And Larry's been given all the help he needs to get himself over this line. And it's not so much that Semipro's made a match of it, he's been allowed to. He's been given all those chances, and Semipro's luck hasn't held out. This match could have been done and dusted an hour ago. You know, the luck hasn't been there for Semi as such, and Larry's been making those errors, and that last one from Semipro, it might be the fatal blow, but who's to say what the hell's going to happen here? We know he needs another ball out of that bunch. He's 5 away, and he's only got 4 balls to work with here. I mean, the 13's at the top of the pack, but you wouldn't say that's in the open, that's going nowhere. He's got to do a bit of disturbing. Well, it'll be interesting to watch it all played back, Semi. I'll watch it tomorrow. Gonna watch the stuff that I missed because I was too busy reading the bloody chat. But it isn't over yet. It is not over yet. Larry needs 4 and he's only got 3. But he can get it off the 10 ball if he just rolls into the middle of the table. A dead weight pot on this one. Or he wants to go over to the rail and out. But he needs to leave the angle. And he's got the angle. And this is it for the match. Anything that he lies on, anything but locked up, and he should be home and dry. And that will do. And Larry has got his 3 balls. Well, 2 now. So it's just going to be whatever it is, the 9 into the middle and the 14. Well, Larry has come through a major crisis, all self-inflicted, but he's got it done. And Larry has gone through in a titanic struggle for all the wrong reasons. Larry getting his high run for the tournament, 131, semi-pro with a 60 odd contribution, I think, and then bits and pieces for the rest of the match. And all those scratches, all those errors from Larry. Well, Semi-Pro is going to have to bounce back. He's going to have to do it the hard way himself. But it's Larry who goes through to the final. We will have a look at the bracket before we go and just see how things are shaping up. And we will see, it should have updated, that Larry is now waiting in the final. And over on this one-loss side, we've got Semi-Pro in the one-loss side final, if you want to call it that, or the semi-final. And he's waiting on the winner of Albinario and Cobra, which we're still waiting on them setting the time. Hopefully that'll be done for tomorrow. And, well, it's going to be a titanic battle to get this tournament won. But Larry has come through 3 very tough matches, 2 of which he played exceptionally well. Tonight it was all looking great. That 1-3-1 run, and then he came off the rails in a big way. Well, he lost a couple of wheels, shall we say. But he got there. But he got there from the help of Semi-Pro. Semi-Pro was unlucky. He managed to get in the match, but then in and out and in and out and in and out. And Larry, any other day, would have been dead and gone home after the amount of chances that Semi had, and they just didn't fall into place. But it was well done to both of them. It was a good match to watch. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for your company. It's been a long night. 3 hours and 8 minutes for the match. An epic. And, well, good luck to the guys for the rest of the tournament. It's going to be a big one. A big ask for Semi-Pro to come through. But he may well have another go at Larry to get revenge in that final. But Cobra and Albinario might have something to say about that as well. So that's one to look forward to. So until we meet again, guys, thank you all for watching. Take care. Stay safe. Take your medicine. Wear your mask. Keep your distance. And be back here soon to hopefully see some more of these matches in this year's 2020 VP4 Straight Pool World Championships. I am off to my bed, and I will see you again very soon. Good night.